Millions and millions of Americans all over the United States are officially in panic mode because President Trump has now officially restricted and paused all federal funding. Now, I'm going to break this down, explain what is going on, how this is going to impact people on Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, people that have grants to go to college, and so much more. Right now, there's a lot of talk that this could actually halt all production, all movement forward for the American people. So, I'm going to break this down in just a moment, explain what is going on, and we're going to listen to the White House give their actual statement on this. So, I'm going to break this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So here we go. The Trump administration orders federal funding freeze on all public loans, grants, and more aid. This means certain aid to other countries is going to stop. Certain aid to cities, to counties, and to states is going to be paused as well. But what does this mean for Social Security, for food stamps, for Medicaid? What does this mean? Do people on Social Security still get their money? Do people that are waiting for a Pell Grant still get it so that they can actually go to college? Well, let's listen, because the White House actually answered this question just today. Listen to this.
This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance and grant programs from the Trump administration. Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause.
So that's actually pretty big, okay? All welfare, any money that's going to individuals specifically will not be paused. That's actually really good news. And that's what had many people panicking last night, panicking this morning, just wondering what in the world is going on. How can I survive without food stamps? How can I survive without my Social Security payments? And keep this in mind, this is not a financial pause that's going to go on for years. This is a temporary pause just so that they can try to rein in spending and see where our taxpayer dollars are going. Let's keep listening.
I want to make that very clear to any Americans who are watching at home who may be a little bit confused about some of the media reporting. This administration, if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that. However, it is the responsibility of this president and this administration to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. That is something that President Trump campaigned on. That's why he has launched DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, who is working alongside OMB. And that's why OMB sent out this memo last night, because the president signed an executive order directing OMB to do just this. And the reason for this is to ensure that every penny that is going out the door is not conflicting with the executive orders and actions that this president has taken. So what does this pause mean? It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs. It means no more funding for the Green New scam that has cost American taxpayers tens of billions of dollars. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy and agencies. No more funding for Green New Deal social engineering policies. Again, people who are receiving individual assistance, you will continue to receive that. And President Trump is looking out for you by issuing this pause because he is being good steward of your taxpayer dollars.
So right there, he is trying to look after the taxpayer dollars. Now, here's the one thing I just want to point out, okay? Because yes, do I think this is a good thing? Should we pause, some of this, the federal funding? Yes. I think that's definitely something that's needed and long overdue. Here's the problem. There's gonna be some casualties along the way. There's going to be certain programs that actually kind of fail because it's not following through. Okay? Let me explain what I mean. Okay, look at this right here. It says Trump's federal funding freeze slated to disrupt vast array of programs. Illinois shut out of Medicaid. Now, what is going on there? Well, we'll get to that in a moment. But look at this. It says the funding freeze could affect trillions of dollars and cause widespread disruptions in healthcare research, education programs, and other initiatives. Grants that have been awarded but not spent are also halted. Okay? Keep that in mind. Certain grants have been halted. But, and again, I want to get to the bottom of this, okay? Because even though the Trump administration has paused federal funding, the federal grants, pauses federal grants starting today, these details are very scarce. And again, I'm going to get to this, but this goes into effect as of 5 p.m. Eastern time today. Okay, so as of right now, as of shooting this video, and as of uploading this, it hasn't gone into effect, but it will. Now I want to read you a few things. Look at this right here. It says the language in the order can be broadly interpreted, but could apply to a sweeping range of funding programs across education, medical research, infrastructure programs, small business loans, housing, and more. Grants that have been awarded but not dispersed are also subject to the pause, according to the Associated Press. It goes on to say, Patty Murray listed dozens of programs that could be affected in a memo to Senate Democrats, including grants to prevent violence against women, victims, funding for local and state police departments, federal funded police transit projects, and grants to support firefighters, state and local law enforcement, and veterans. Here's the other thing. There are some grants that are for veteran housing, okay, for just veteran needs. These grants are on pause, okay? They have been paused. Law enforcement, state and local law enforcement, again, there's grants that have been paused, okay, because the money was allocated, but it was never spent, which means it's now paused. It doesn't mean it's not going out. It just means temporarily it's going to be on pause, okay? Again, that's where there's going to be casualties. And what the Trump administration is saying, and I've been reading so many different articles and listening to so many different interviews on this, the Trump administration is simply saying that the last 4 years of the previous administration have been abysmal. They've been so bad, and they've been hiding spending that now the Trump administration's coming in, realizing how bad things were, and they're trying to fix it on the fly. This is what I told you guys many months ago, okay, when Donald Trump was first selected, okay, when everyone, millions of people voted for him and his administration. Well, what essentially happened was, as he was digging into what was going on under the previous administration, they started to realize and reveal the true issues. The problem is the Trump administration didn't get all the information until he was inaugurated on January 20th. Again, that was just 8 days ago. In the past 8 days, many things have happened. I want to keep reading this though. It says, does Trump's grant freeze impact student loans? It says federal Pell Grants and direct loans are not impacted. It says the OMB told reporters, citing the provisions in the order stating that financial assistance to individuals is exempt. So that's good news there. Again, keep in mind, Social Security, Medicare, food stamps, and all welfare is also exempt. You will still get your payments. Goes on to say, will Medicaid be impacted? This is a big one. The White House said in its guidance issued publicly on Tuesday that Medicaid will continue without pause. However, Medicaid portals are down in all 50 states. Yeah. Earlier today, we saw Medicaid portals were down. What's that about? Well, according to some, it's because of the federal funding freeze, but others say that no, that's not the case. They're looking into it. As to why are these websites down, honestly, I don't know. That's somewhat suspicious. Now, here's another one. How is foreign aid impacted? Well, according to Trump, there's a 90-day, not according to Trump, but reports, there is a 90-day freeze on foreign development assistance, but military assistance for Israel and Egypt and emergency food aid is exempt from the freeze. So we are still sending some stuff to Israel and Egypt. says the directive appears to apply to weapons assistance for Taiwan and Ukraine and mandates stop work orders for non-governmental organizations and aid groups to prohibit them from spending U.S. aid that's already been distributed. Okay, so what we are now facing is, well, it's going to be a very interesting time because right now President Trump has directed all these agencies to pause additional funding. Now, I want to show you this though. It says the pause becomes effective at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, and agencies are required to report to the Office of Management and Budget by February 10th which programs and activities they have paused, though the administration has indicated it will offer some exemptions. So again, the pause is not yet in effect. It will be in effect as of 5 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time, but as of February 10th, they need to know which programs have been affected, which programs have been paused. Now, what is this going to do? Well, here's the problem. It's not like as of February 11th, all these programs just come back online, right? Everyone starts getting their money. No. What's going to happen is on February 10th, once all this information is reported, then the Trump administration is going to look at all the different agencies and figure out which ones are absolutely needed, which ones are crucial to the American people. For instance, what the White House asked today and was told was that once all this information is out there and once these agencies are pausing funding, we're going to start to see some trouble here and there. That's where then the White House needs to look at and figure out, okay, who can we help? How much is it going to cost? And does this impact or does this go against President Trump's executive orders? If it doesn't, then really it's fair game and we can start spending some of that money. But at this time, this pause, this federal funding freeze is going to go into effect. This could impact millions and millions of people, but at this time, for those that do get individual payments, whether it's for welfare, Social Security, food stamps, Medicaid, whatever, you will still get your benefits. So we do have some good news there. But as we get more information as to how this plays out, who this is going to impact, and what this looks like in the future, I promise I will bring you all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.